Hi friends, welcome to day 23, second to last day in the 24-hour, 24-day image creation marathon, which is brought to you by Instagraphics, my company, where I teach you to create stand-out images quickly and easily on your iPhone, iPad, or your computer. I'm Grace, I'm your host, and I want to thank you for being here. I really appreciate your taking the time to watch my videos, and I will try to make it time well spent. So our app for today, number 23, is called Union. And we have seen some other apps that do similar things. As I mentioned a few times, some of these apps do overlap. You try them out and then you choose the one that has the features that are the most useful to you, the ones that appeal to you. This way you can sort of, give a trial run without buying these apps and see what they're all about, see what they can do. And some of them are free. They have ads in them, or it's a limited version, but still you can download it and give it a try. You can always buy the full version or the non-ad version if it turns out that it's something that is very useful to you and you use it all the time, and then it might be worth it. All right, so let's get into this app called Union. You start at the bottom and you go to the background and you hit the background, and it's going to give you some options. The options are a blank canvas, color, which is just solid color in the background, or a photo. Most of the time you're probably going to want to put a photo back there. And I want my blank. Now this is a stock shot, with the pineapple and the open frame. And so I want it square cut. I want to crop it. I think I've mentioned this before. I like to square cut it so I can put it on Instagram, and even though it's not the optimum shape for the other social networks, it does seem to work pretty well, and then I don't have to spend as much time on it. If you want to prepare them each for the ideal dimensions for the different networks, you can certainly do that. I've done it many times. It's just a lot of work. So anyway, back to this. I've square cut it, and I'm going to touch that green button with the check mark on the upper right, and there we go. And I don't want the, oh, you know what, it'll change. So I'm going back. I see the 3 lines in the upper left. Those are the 3 steps you can take. Just think of it that way. So that's home. So anytime you want to go to do something, you touch this upper left-hand corner where the lines are. Now I want to set my foreground. Let me have my foreground, people. You have to hit the X marker. It's going to leave you with where you were. Now my options are color, or I can choose a photo. And I want to choose that photo of the girls. Those are my granddaughters, Lizzie and Coco. And so here's the photo of the girls. And I'm going to take my forefinger and my middle finger. I'm just going to squeeze that photo so that it's a little bit smaller and it fits in the frame. Now, you can see that there's a shape in which it would fit perfectly, and I'd get a little shadow. It would be nice, but I didn't crop this first, and it looks fine without that. But the one thing you want to be careful of if you do this is you want to watch to make sure that I think I did that the first time when I made it, where the shadow in the background was showing. No bueno. Okay, that's pretty even. I was just trying to even it out. Now, that's my image. That's what I did. So I'm going to go back to this home screen. I don't need the masking. That's step number 3. And I'm just going to export that and save it to my camera roll. Now, one thing that you can do that I want to mention is Tangent and some other apps, some other real creative apps are made by the same people who make this app, Union. And they have some great little video tutorials that show you how to make these together. Now I can work around with that and see what I can come up with, and I can do some other video tutorials on that very same thing. But in the meantime, you might want to check those out. These are very creative and pretty sophisticated apps, I would say. For example, the thing that I want to show you about this is, so anyway, back to this, you would save it or open it in Instagram or send it to an app or share it to the usual spots. So I'm going to X out there. And I just want to show you, if you go into Mask, all of these little icons appear at the bottom. Now, this magic wand on the far left, it doesn't really work very well. It's going to take most of your picture away. Now you can try it, and there's undo arrows at the very top right, but I just don't want to mess with it right now. What you can do is the second furthest to the right, the one that's highlighted in orange, that's the erase. So that I could, if I wanted to, and I wouldn't want to in this picture, but I want to show you this, I could erase this. So I'm going to touch it, and you can see that it will erase, but it's big, and that makes it a little bit more difficult. Now you could blow this up. You could go back here, and you could blow that up. All right, so you'd have a bigger area to work with, and then you could go back to the foreground after you were done masking and size it again. But the thing that I want to show you is, if you go back here and you go to the masking and you've chosen the erase, this furthest to the right, if you go in there, you can adjust the brush size. And I really love that because you can do a much more accurate job. Now this slider here, the second one, that is brush opacity. So if you have that to the not 100%, it's not going to take everything out. It's just going to take some of it away. And that could be very interesting. You know, I really go back into these apps that you like and play around with them and spend some time in there. All right, so I made my brush pretty small. So I'm going to come over here. Oh, yeah, that's much better. I can be much more accurate. And the phone isn't in my hand, and also it helps when you're holding it in your hand. Mine's on a little stand. All right, so I think you get the idea. You can go in here, you can adjust the brush to make it large or very small, and that can be very helpful. So I'm going to take this all the way back. Oh, look, it won't let me go all the way back. I'm going to go here. I'm going to make it a size that it should have been to begin with, or it was to begin with, I should say. Make sure my shadow of my cutout of the frame isn't showing. Good enough. I think that looks great, and we're just going to save it by going here. I touched the upper left hand lines, and I'm going to export it, and I'm going to save it to my camera roll, even though I already have it. So that's Union. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said before, it's similar to some of the other apps that we've used, but I must say I think that Union is the most sophisticated in terms of the masking that we have used so far. There may be, you know, there's actually a Photoshop app that is pretty heavy duty, but for these little apps, this app, by the way, it costs $1.99, and I think it's worth it. There's no in-app purchases or anything like that. I just want to remind you, there is a free PDF info sheet download for this app and for every app in the marathon at my website, instagraphics.biz/marathon. You can find out information about joining my Facebook group where we talk about these images and just content marketing in general. And you can get updates on the marathon that's almost over, but I'm going to be doing some other videos too, some product demonstrations, and there's so many apps that I love, and I love sharing them with you too. So I'll be continuing to do them, just not 24 days in a row. Anyway, go to my website and sign up for something, because I am going to announce the details of this contest I've been talking about. And the prize is every app in the marathon, and many of them are not free. I think that's about it on our second to last day. I thank you so much for being here. I've loved showing you around Union and all of these apps, and I'll see you tomorrow for Flipagram. Woohoo! All right, so long for now. Make it a great day.